Okay.
Great.
Haha! Okay. So, behind the scenes, for those of you who are not in the Discord, um, there has been a bit of a conspiracy that has been going on within the ranks of the Iron Badgers. Um, and it has come to light. So, last night, before essentially essentially before lights out, um, Star Commanders Kirka and Deanna would have gotten a message on their data pad. Um, Seemingly, for the most part, sent out to all of the Star Commanders and above planet side. And it reads essentially that you are all to assemble in staging area Alpha with all of your stars present. Kirka, yours includes a message asking you to bring along technician Samantha.
Okay.
So the next morning comes around. The time set for the what you expect is some odd briefing. It is set a little bit later than normal, and it's set to 0800. So I'm assuming you all, because usually the morning briefings are like 0600, 0700 at the latest. So you have a little bit of time. You all have a little bit of time, but more time than usual before the briefing. What are you all doing during this time? Whoever would like to go first can.
I guess Kirko will go first. She has been working like a mad woman, trying to get all of the information together that she can about everything that's been going on top of all the other duties that she's responsible for, and basically would have sent out a report to Star Captain Melis shortly before that message came out. So she would know that it was probably something that was being done in response to that message in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Since I'm presuming it came from Melis.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Then yeah. So she would know for certain that it has something to do with the report that she dropped, which was a bombshell.
A little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
basically, yeah. Go ahead.
So another thing that was in yours as well, it also told you to bring Helmer. Specific.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So getting back to what you were saying, sorry for interrupting.
Yep. So then, no, it's okay. So basically, this report is a summary of all of the things that have been going on in the background for what has, especially the previous couple of weeks, but honestly for about a month and a half. It started, the roots of it were in the weeks leading up to the actual invasion of Roadside, and since then it's kind of bared fruit in a lot of ways. So she's basically been running around not just the base, but going into the city, Claremont, the capital of Roadside, um, interviewing anyone that she can manage to coordinate time with one-on-one, um, collecting records from her chief technician Ian, as well as uh, Samantha, the medical officer of the Anakuma, Suman, who was tapped to be in charge of the med bay planet side, and several other people, getting as much information as she can to weave a case as to the conspiracy that's going on. So she knows exactly what all of this is about, and she's also extremely tired and in not much of a mood to entertain any sort of silliness or shenanigans or whatnot. She basically just put her entire career into jeopardy, and may have also jeopardized the only people in her life that she really considers to be her friends. So she's very, very, very tense. Isn't able to sleep the night before. Gets a hold of her star, disseminates the message, uh, tells Helmer and Samantha to stick close to her specifically. Samantha is in on everything that's been going on. She had been helping Kirka in the side. For those who don't know who Samantha is a Diamond Shark bondswoman who was eventually handed to Deanna to be the technician in charge of Deanna's Marauder. So Samantha's responsible for Deanna's Marauder. And then Kirka and Samantha wound up developing what could basically be called a romantic relationship, as well as a working one. So the two have been working pretty closely together, in particular the past few days, trying to get everything taken care of because she's a victim of this whole conspiracy. And then Helmer is not as aware. He just knows that something's up, and he's getting more sideways glances than usual. He never integrated really well into the Iron Badgers, being a former Jade Falcon bondsman. But he had been working on it in recent months and had improved considerably in his interactions with everyone. So he was viewing everything as kind of being a step back and didn't read too much more deeply into it than that. So that's kind of the gamut that all of this runs at the moment, and all of this is what's going through Kirka's mind as she eventually makes her way to the designated briefing location with Samantha and Helmer in tow, ready to see what is about to happen, because she frankly has no idea.
All right. Who would like to go next?
Yeah, sure, I'll go for it. Um, yeah, just kind of a quick recap for outside of the stream. Like Deanna has just been a mess lately. She is naturally just very hard on herself to begin with. And because of these shenanigans, because of the I don't want to say intentional malfunction, probably a really good way to put it. It has been really undermining her confidence because she is, in her mind, she's supposed to be the number two. She's supposed to be the second only to Kirika when it comes to ability, and she hasn't been putting up to the point where earlier in the week she hadn't been leaving her quarters. Somebody had to bring her meals. So she's kind of a mess. A little better after a conversation with Kirika where it was revealed that more was up, and a quick trip to orbit just to try and quiet that dissonance between whether it really is the metal or if it's the meat. So when she comes in for her part, she's also tired. She's better than she has been in recent days, but still clearly a little off. And Samantha, for her part, like she's in a wheelchair, full on. Because as mentioned, like she had to have some very nasty surgery. She had to have a skin graft. It's a mess all around right now.
And it's been a rough couple of months.
It really has.
Alrighty, who would like to go next? Or well, actually, sorry, Deanna, did you have more for you?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Who would like to go next?
I guess
Hi.
we're.
Huh?
Oh. Go
I'll
on.
go. I'll go. So Esme is kind of the opposite of everybody right now. Like, I guess for everybody that doesn't know from like the battle and stuff, she took out what, like 3 or 4 mechs or something. So she's like on quite a high after that, actually. But also recovering from being injured. So I guess she's spent some time in the med bay for a while. And she's been keeping more to herself. But yeah, kind of more upbeat and stuff from all that. And she did have a meeting with Kirka and learned about being able to claim the dire wolf, which she's been pretty excited about. And I guess that's about all. It's kind of just short and sweet to the point.
Alrighty. Ember.
Yeah. So I guess for the past 1.5 weeks, you could describe Amber as an angry uh, uh, ball of hair and oil. And because of that, when time comes to come to this briefing, she's like she's mostly with unkept hair, and like she's she's there, but she's not really there because she's thinking about something else. Yeah.
Alrighty. And Cletus.
So since we got a little extra time this morning, I think Cletus is going to be up making a little cup of coffee and trying to find the nearest window and just appreciate the world for what it is, as it is for the moment, before he goes down to the briefing and takes his usual seat in the back.
Cletus, being blissfully unaware. Alrighty, so you all get to staging point Alpha, which is where this morning's briefing is taking place for some reason. Normally it would just be like in one of the briefing rooms, and there would only be like usually like maybe a trinary at most in the room. But you're looking out, and like you get there, and you can see that there's probably about 100 people milling about here. Between the different aerospace, ground, and mech assets. The only people who aren't here seemingly is those who are set to be essentially base security. other than that, like, it's a veritable sea of people compared to what you're used to seeing. As as you all gather and get there, you can see Star Captains Melis and Hallis are standing in the middle of a, like, clear area. Like, there's nobody standing within probably a good 5 meters of the two. The only people other than the two star captains that are in that, like, radius are 5 people who are currently on their, 15 people who are currently on their knees, and their hands are bound behind their backs. Of note, there is Jacques. There are what look to be 3 different mech pilots from the Barsuk crew, and what looks to be one of the battle armor troops from the Barsuk crew. Other than that, the other 10 people seem to be all wearing technician's garb with various star markings on it. 3 of which are recognizable to Beta Star. And you guys get there, and it takes a little bit for everybody else to show up. Amusingly enough, the last group of people to show up was the command star from the Barsuk. They had apparently been running late for some reason. Seeing this, Star Captain Melis looks out over the assembled crowd, and you can see Deanna and Kirka would notice this probably more so than anybody else in the Star, as you've both dealt with Star Captain Melis more than anybody else in the Star currently. He is not happy, to put it bluntly. You can see there is, like, this ember of rage in his eyes. Whereas, like, on the, like, his face just looks normal. He just looks like it's, a normal, like, he just stone faced. Like, playing poker against this man is probably a bad idea. And as he looks out over the assembled group, it has come to light that there are those amongst you who wish to sow discord, who wish to divide the Badgers from within, and who seemingly wish to cause us to fail in securing roadside. These people, gesturing to the group of individuals who are currently sitting on their knees in front of him, have been implicated in the sabotage of 4 different mechs, all of which belonging to Bond's people. That is an act of war against us all. I really don't give a shit what your personal opinion is, as long as you do your damn job. Now, it turns out I've been a little bit too lenient with that sort of thinking. That's something that will be rectified here. Star Commanders Kirka and Deanna. Bondsman Helmer and bondswoman Samantha. As you 4 were directly victimized by their actions, you all will get the first decision of how these individuals will atone for their crimes. Keep in mind that after you make your decisions, I will be making my decisions. And then whatever is left, it will be up to the Star Colonel once she arrives as to their final fates. I will now leave this in your hands for your decision. And at that point, he kind of just steps back.
For what might be the first time in a long time, Kirka is completely baffled by this decision. Not in a bad way, just not expecting it, and is actually kind of looking to the Trueborns next to her for guidance.
So one thing that I will interject here, one thing that Kirka would know, being that you were raised within the Badgers, is this is something that has been used in the past when dealing with situations such as this. Although, like, in your like upbringing and learning and stuff like that, in the history of the Badgers, you only remember hearing about it like once or twice type deal, where something that like where somebody who has directly acted against the clan interests, their punishment has basically been dealt with by the people directly involved, the next person up the chain, and then finally the whoever's in charge of that area. Like I said, like you only remember like maybe once or twice of this happening in the past based on your research.
Okay. And then, so now that I have that context, would I also know what has typically been done in the past by those who were directly wronged in this? It almost feels like a classic like Roman decimation, but I don't know if I want to say that that's what it is.
In one of the situations, that basically was the outcome. In another one of the so there were to put an actual number on it, there were 3 instances that you had found. One where it was like the typical Roman decimation style thing, was the ultimate outcome after everybody had been involved. There was one where it ended up being essentially a loss of like stature, standing, and materiel, and like the perpetrators essentially had to effectively do community service for like multiple years afterwards. That one was like on a more minor end of the spectrum, and the most extreme end of the spectrum was all of the perpetrators ended up being killed out of the deal.
Okay.
So like it does run the gambit of like how extreme it can be.
Okay. In that case, let me read egg. Kirka had been thinking about how to deal with this. He had some ideas put into the tail end of her report as to what he thinks should be done.
Which I am now going to go look at and refresh quick.
I will just add in here the fact
Mhm.
that Discord does not word wrap text files that are uploaded is a
It's
pain in the
extremely
ass.
aggravating. It is extremely aggravating. Like, yeah, no, I hate that.
Fucking add word wrap Discord.
I know, right? God. But no. So then I guess she'll step forward and declare, I, Star Commander Kirka, leader of Beta Star and Akuma Trinary, am the one who has borne the most of the attacks that have been laid upon my star by these perpetrators. I have been the one to oversee the healing of the wounds, physical and psychological, inflicted upon my starmates, my immediate subordinates. Dare I say, my Trothkin. I have been the
He
one
says
to.
that word. Deanna smiles softly and nods.
Unlike the direct victims of this violence, I was born into this clan. My lineage can be traced directly back to Trish Eben, who led us out of exile into the inner sphere. She who led the Minnesota tribe through the ravages of the Draconis Combine in the wake of the First Succession War. Her blood runs through my veins. So I, before any, reserve the right to decide who is and who is not worthy to bear the title of Iron Badger. And I will not tolerate. With this, she glares at Jock in particular, knowing that he is one of the main ringleaders. Any petulant individuals who seek to supplant this from me. It is my will that those directly involved with this Barbados conspiracy be stricken from the cast of warriors. May they be removed, and all honor and accolades be stripped from them. May they never step foot off this planet again. And with that, after a pause, she takes a step back.
After you finish saying that, Star Captain Mellis kind of just nods. And it looks like he's considering. And at that point, he kind of considers for a moment. And puts his fingers in his mouth and lets out this really loud whistle. Almost ear-piercing. Like, you wouldn't... It's... You know those people who can, like, whistle way louder than you would expect a human being to be able to whistle?
Oh god, yeah. I had a gym teacher like that.
Yeah, he's one of those. And a couple of minutes later, you kind of hear a very familiar voice walking through the crowd of people, just going, "Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, hey, move, don't poke me there." As Jet kind of comes ambling out of the crowd of people, essentially on the opposite side of the cleared circle from Deanna and Kirka. I'm assuming they're standing basically right next to one another. And walks to the center of the circle. And Mellis kind of whispers in his ear for a couple of moments, and then he's like, you hear Jet say, "Well, you know what? That makes sense. But this is about as good a time as any." And he walks straight over to Samantha. Last night, I came into possession of your bond cord. Jacques is really no good at a fist fight. But besides that, and he pulls out a knife from behind his back and cuts the last remaining cord on Samantha's bond cord. I've seen firsthand that you, just like when I was around for when it happened with Deanna, deserve this. You've deserved it for a long time. Unfortunately, that asshole over there didn't agree. And then with like a fluid motion, he cuts the last cord.
She doesn't say anything, just starting to weep a little bit. More relief than anything.
And yeah, at that point, Jet just kind of starts standing alongside the, alongside where Beta Star is located. And after that is dealt with, Mellis looks directly at you, Deanna.
Yeah, she just meets his gaze, kind of staring back.
As he kind of thinks for a moment. I'm sure as the teachings of the wolves are slightly different than our own, which kind of elicits a couple of chuckles from like within the people, the assembled people. You, as one who was directly affected by this, also have the right to enact your retribution, as does Samantha and Helmer. This is your time for that. As after you decide what you feel their fate should be, it is then up to me to decide.
Find a lot of cruel irony that these words are appropriate now, just as they were hardly inappropriate centuries ago. But I do think there is only one option for treason. Those who break faith with the unity shall go down unto darkness. Which, out of game, that is a direct quote from Nicholas Kerensky when he ordered the annihilation.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
Mellis considers that for a moment and just kind of looks back at Deanna. That irony is not lost upon me. Samantha, Helmer.
Samantha's still a bit too choked up to really get into it, but he looks at the Star Captain, then looks at Deanna and nods in agreement.
Okay, and how does Helmer react?
He will simply grunt and nod in agreement with Deanna. But then probably lean over and simply say, "I could not have said it better myself, Trothkin." And then just kind of straighten back up.
At that, Star Captain Mellis looks over at Hollis. If you have anything to say in their defense, now would be the time. To which the other man just basically stays silent. As the mountain of evidence against them had been handed to him earlier in the day. Now, I will pass my judgment. And I am in agreement. They will be stripped of any titles, any accolades, any materiel, and will be put before the firing squad. Now, on to my second order of business. Since this insurrection, for lack of a better word, was perpetrated primarily by members of the Barsuk crew. I will be issuing a challenge to Star Captain Hallis. Now, normally, you would have the right to choose the nature of the engagement. Not this time. My beta star will be facing a star of your choosing. Tomorrow, planet side. And at this point, he looks at Kirka, Deanna, and everybody within Beta Star, and even Jet. I trust that you will be prepared. And looking back at Hallis, I trust that you too will be prepared for what is to come. Snapping his fingers, a group of security come up, gather up the people who are currently in cuffs, and lead them off to the holding cells. Kirka, you know that this is kind of an extreme situation that's happening right now. Essentially, the amount of physical challenges within the clans that have happened over the last 50 years, let's say, you could count on one hand and still have space to count more. So yeah, that to give you an idea of how rare and extreme of a situation this is. And without even giving Hallis a chance to respond, he walks over to Kirka and Deanna. With everything you two have done over this campaign, and since you have been under my command, you both will be rewarded. It will have to wait until after we're done taking roadside. I'm sure you can both understand that.
Ensuring the safety of my people comes first, Star Captain.
Now, you have a fight to get ready for. Probably a good time to get on those last checks. And at that, Mellis kind of starts walking away, and everybody else kind of takes that as a cue that the briefing, such as it was, the trial, I guess would be a more apt term, has been dismissed, and everybody is free to go back to their normal schedule of tasks. What is Deanna and what is Kirka and company going to get up to?
Kirka, first and foremost, is going to be going through and making sure that every individual unit within her direct chain of command is ready to fight fight the next day. She's going through, she's discussing like what needs to be done on their equipment, any hiccups that have arisen, the progress reports on maintenance and repairs, especially for the mechs that have seen damage and sabotage. Basically, just making sure all of the ducks are in a row. She does not want to take any chances.
Alrighty. So for everybody involved, this is also a good chance for some free play should you want it. As I still also have to decide what mechs you will be going up against.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like you guys all have a pretty much a day to figure out what like basically you have a day in game to kill. And I was kind of planning on this being more of an RP episode myself, and probably be doing the
Oh,
fight next week.
I see.
So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Kirka, if you want to expand on what you're doing and turn it into a little bit of roleplay.
Happily. So first things first, she is going to make her way over to her own mech bay and have a discussion with Ian. Unfortunately, one of the beta star no, two. It was two of the beta star technicians that were indicted in this happened to be from her crew personally, which Ian is shocked about and is very beat up by. After a discussion, letting him know that it wasn't his fault, there was no way he could know, he was kept in the dark, and with everyone kind of intermingling and working with all these other different machines, it was impossible to tell that who was doing where when exactly. It was a mess trying to get everything untangled, and Ian had a pretty heavy hand in getting all of the maintenance records and everything squared away, since that's his job. He oversees ultimately all of the crews in the Star. After that, basically goes over. The Timberwolf is completely fine. It's totally ready to go. It hasn't been messed with. The proximity sensors never went off, like overnight or anything like that. So there have been no signs of tampering. Just to be sure, she does climb into the cockpit and runs a few basic, like really simple diagnostics in order to make sure that things are tracking the way that they're supposed to, that there's no weirdness going on with anything. Before she deactivates it and moves on to whoever seems to be available at the moment, which I will leave that to whoever wants to have a roleplay moment, I guess.
The ball is
Well, I'll take off from there.
perfect.
Okay.
So I would basically be doing probably the same thing. I would be walking down to the mech bay. I really haven't had much opportunity to converse or even really introduce myself to the people who are maintaining my machine. So I think now that I would have a little bit of time, I would like to do that instead of just keeping them faceless and nameless individuals in the Legion. And after just, giving my general introduction and thanks to the men in that area, I would like to follow Kirka out and invite them to breakfast or maybe lunch.
Can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead. If you have something you want to do, now is the time to do
No,
it.
like I wanted to say like not again.
Oh my god.
Hey, if that's how you want your like you personally or your character.
Me personally
Okay.
commenting on the take out Sir Kirka on, because that's what the third attempt.
I'm just gonna say right now,
Mhm.
the only guy that has been in the star that hasn't hit on Kirka has been Jet, and one of the only people in the star who hasn't hit on Kirka has also been Jet. Because I think
Yeah.
pretty much everyone else has.
Everyone
Whoa.
else has at least
Hell
taken
yeah.
a pass at her.
Well, Ember
Hell yeah.
didn't. She just didn't have the time yet.
Deanna hasn't made a pass at her.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
just she grew up military. She doesn't give a shit about her body, only about in the hallway decorum.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
That's why I said one
I
eye.
just really am trying to make my like friendship rounds, you know what I mean? My Stardew Valley visit of the week with everybody, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like that's I like as the GM and even as like if were I a player in this situation, I would get that.
Mhm.
The characters in the
Yeah, I know.
action though.
Yeah, no, as a player, yeah,
Right.
absolutely. As a player, I get it. But the character is not so convinced. She's frigid most of the time. Like, no, like she's legendarily frigid. People do not like her. But
Maybe
I mean,
maybe some maple syrup will warm her up, you know what I mean?
it's going to take a lot more than maple syrup. But I mean, if you want to role play it, you're more than welcome to. I want this to happen.
Sure, I'm down if you're down.
Yeah, just
That's-
don't offer her cookies.
Oh my
All
god,
right.
no. Yeah.
Or don't be like Ainsley who tried to
Or awkwardly offer to cook dinner or
yeah.
Jesus. Or any number of other things. Jesus. So many people. Anyway. Um so yeah. So then I guess Kiriko would go up to Cletus's mech bay.
Hell yeah. Welcome in. I would imagine that the mech bay is you would imagine Cletus being kind of dumb and doofy and unaware. You would probably assume that his staff would be that way, but he seems to have it over there in his mech bay, a pretty organized and neat little space set up, you know.
Mhm.
He seems a little more put together than you would have imagined given his general decorum in the past. So, well, if you'd like to go get some breakfast with me, I would love to go hang out.
I appreciate the gesture, but I am mostly here to check up on the progress of maintenance for your mech. I want you in tip-top shape for tomorrow.
Hey, this bad boy right here, it's going to run no matter what. You know, even if I have to stay up and work on it, we'll get it done.
Good. Do you know what all else needs to be done on it?
No, I just got down here. You know, not that long ago. I mean, the trial / briefing, as it were, just ended. Which I gotta say, hopefully they get the axe. You know, hopefully that goes all the way to the top. There's no room
Whatever
for that
happens will
yet.
happen. In the meantime, do you know what all has been done with your mech up to this point? I know you did not sustain much damage during the last engagement, but better to be safe and make sure that everything is on the up and up than have something unexpected happen.
Well, I guess I could have one of the techs run a full diagnostic on this baby right here. So
Do you
I
not
can.
do you not keep track of what your technicians are doing with your mech?
I kind of just trust the process, you know. These guys, they have their job, and I believe in them. I now realize that maybe my blind faith is not wise, but up to this point, I have been trusting them. So you could say, in a way, I have not been keeping track. Yes.
That is what I was trying to get at. Yes, please regard I it is not a question of trust in your technicians. It is a matter of knowing your machine. We have so I do not expect you to be a technical expert on your machine. That is not your job. Your job is to pilot it. However, it is still in your best interest, since you will be the one climbing into that 80-ton death coffin of a machine, to make sure that everything is running smoothly, and that if there is anything that comes up, that you are aware of it and can do what needs to be done in order to make sure that there are no problems in the future. There is a fine line between being relaxed and being complacent. One will get you killed on the battlefield. The other will not. Get my point?
Understood.
Good. So then I suppose I will talk with your technicians and see what there is to do. In the meantime, enjoy your breakfast. I have several other crews to discuss things with before I have a chance to eat today.
All right. Well, I figured I'd extend the offer. And then I guess I'll just kind of duck off and go try to find my head tech and start talking to him. And wave as you finally depart.
And on that note, I guess who would be next? There's a lot of running around today.
Right?
Yeah. I guess next. I would like to be next.
Okay. So nearby, kind of catty-cornered from Cletus's Warhammer 2C, is the Oro that is commanded by Ember. Kirga had been doing her best to make sure that even with everything going on, each unit within her star, each point, as it were, has a reasonable number of technicians that are available working on it at any given moment. And she has noticed a couple times that the Oro repeatedly does not have any, despite there being 4, I think it is, assigned to it at any moment. That's the case this morning as well, as Kirka makes her way over. And basically calls out to the crew. Go ahead.
So basically, when you call out, you can only see that Ember pops out from under the tank, from under the front of the tank. It's a fixed smile. Yeah, hi.
Morning. I was under the impression you had 4 technicians here to assist you. What happened to them?
I denied them access to my tank.
Understandable. This has been something that's happened a few times with us, correct?
I generally allow them to work on my machine. I don't trust in their skills.
If it was their loyalty, then, especially given current events, I would not blame you. But their skills? These?
I'm afraid they might break something.
Intentionally or not? Because we have a lot of the former going on recently. And again, I would not blame you if that was the case.
Both, because in the past, not in your star, I think was third by a crew of three people, and they broke half the um, optics in the
Oh,
turret.
and this was in the Von Luckner, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, you need that. Especially in that old tank. Which, speaking of, how is the Oro treating you? All things considered.
Gratefully. Much better than the old wild bucket.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad it's treating you so well. Genuinely. I did notice, as a matter of doctrine, we already had a full conversation about this, but just to reiterate, I suppose, do not be afraid to let yourself get close to your target before you open fire. That is what this tank loadout seems to be built for. Even if you do not trust other technicians to work on it, at least trust me to be able to command you properly with it. I will not let you die. I promise.
I'll I'll push this baby to the most of the limits of its armor.
I know. You took a lot of unlucky shots during that last engagement. That was unusual. Hopefully we can avoid that in the future.
Yeah. Unless someone a slight side eye would
Right.
Stop complaining about me again. And we both know who it is.
Mm. Do we need to have another conversation?
No, I'll deal with him myself.
Okay. Let me know if it becomes too much of a hassle, okay? Just because I have all this other stuff on my plate doesn't mean I cannot help you when I can.
I'll help.
Okay. Is there anything that you need from me for tomorrow?
No. I don't think so.
Okay. Then I guess I will leave you to this. Good luck finishing this up. It looks a lot better than it did when it rolled back in here. I will say that.
Of course, it's almost had a hole in its front.
And now it's back. And now it's almost back to normal.
Just cleaning up bottom.
Of course. And with that, Kirka will wander off and let Ember get back to work. And make her rounds to whoever's available next, I guess. That would be Esme or Deanna, I guess.
Yeah, I was just waiting to see if she spoke up first. Because it's not like we have any shortage of interaction.
This is very true.
Okay, I mean, I guess I can go.
I was about to say, I gave you the opening.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I guess Esme's kind of wandering a little aimlessly. um, but it's probably checking in on the Falconer because that did get damaged. So yeah, she probably sees Kirka and wanders over to her, like a beat, and just asks, "Oh, hi, Kirka. How are you?"
You do not want the answer to that question. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I just gotta check in on Mechasaurus.
Mechasaurus.
Mechasaurus
you-
Rex.
Is that the falconer that you were piloting?
Yes.
I see. And then she looks over and you mentioned a custom paint job for this. This would be a good time to describe it if you have it in mind.
Oh, which one?
For Mechasaurus, for the falconer. This is out of
Mechasaurus,
character.
oh, yeah.
This is out of character. I'm telling you
Okay.
to
Yeah.
describe the paint job.
Oh yeah, the paint job of
That-
it's like yeah. Mechasaurus just has like a kind of, I guess, almost spray painted looking like dinosaur face on the sides. With the big teeth and stuff. Just all bright and vivid on it. That's like the main thing. The rest is just like probably darker colors and things.
So
But more standard looking.
okay, so what I'm picturing here, this is actually good for me as a bit of overarching description for how the forces look and whatnot. The general like camo spec for the how all of the mechs for the Badgers look is usually by star, sometimes by trinary. All but the right arm of each mech is done up in a similar style of camo. And then the right arm is colored specifically for the pilot that is running the machine. But with Mechasaurus Rex, what I'm picturing is that with the spray painted looking dinosaur heads on the side of essentially like right next to the cockpit on either side. And that is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it.
It has an A10 face. It's happy to see you.
Uh-huh.
A spray painted A10 face. Which the spray painted part, since I'm presuming it literally looks like she just took like a neon pink like rattle can and just kind of sprayed a face on it.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah,
very
basically.
graffiti style rather than like anything formal.
That was actually going to be my
Yeah,
next
basically.
question. Is it like good graffiti or like beginner graffiti style? Where it's just like the outline.
It's a little more, I'd say it's a little more, it's like good, but it's gritty looking.
Okay.
Like just, yeah. Like it's more simple, but yeah, more gritty and stuff.
Nice. Nice. My apologies
And-
for jumping in.
No, that's okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
And Kirk going to look at it. Technically, the face is a little out of spec, but given Esme's performance during the last mission, the last thing that she wants to do is get bitchy about something as particular as paint, especially since there was a whole brouhaha going on. There's other things that she really cares more about at the moment. But she is noting that she was kind of guided towards the falconer and just kind of looks it over. It does look better than it did previously, but you did acquire that new direwolf, Quaff,
Yeah.
and that's that over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what all have you done with it? This is a different configuration than it came in with. So I guess you did take my advice to heart.
I did, yeah. Well, you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Sound very good.
I ran the configuration by you, I guess, and you seemed to be okay with it, and the crew was surprisingly willing to put in the work to get everything together. I'm just surprised we managed to find all of the components that were needed in order to make this happen.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm very excited to see what this does. I
It-
want to cause all the mayhem.
As long as you target the people that I need you to target, okay?
Oh yeah, of course.
Especially with as much firepower as this thing has, you should be able to take them down quickly, and then we could just move on to the next one.
Indeed, yeah.
As for Mechasaurus, I would not worry about that too much. It is on reserve right now. So how that works is when there is a free hand, they are designated to put time into it as they're able. But since it is not a priority for us at the moment, unfortunately, it's going to be in a kind of a slow, steady sort of state of repair versus, say, this direwolf, which we dragged in on the salvage truck a week ago and is now more or less ready for combat. Does that make
Uh-huh.
sense?
She
So-
seems slightly frustrated.
Do not worry. Do not worry. It will be ready to go whenever you want it to, just not at the moment.
Okay, she kind of glares a little bit and just says, "Yes, as long as they're comfortable."
I'm sure they are fine. They are in a garage. They have all their little parts and gizmos next to them. I'm sure they are perfectly content.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. Let me know if there's anything you need, okay?
Yeah, okay. And then I think with that, she'll scramble off because she's gonna go and put some paint on the direwolf.
And Kierke's gonna kind of watch this for a moment. And hiss a little bit through some gritted teeth. Because she is a lot, and Kirka has not quite gotten a beat on her yet. And then the next step will be checking in on Tornfalk, making sure everything is good at that front, which it is. They didn't get all that much damage in the previous engagement. And similar to Ember, Darius is also pretty protective of his tank and doesn't let most people get near it. He does a good amount of the maintenance himself, along with the rest of the crew. They do allow some technicians to come in, but only the ones that they know personally. So, on that front, it's at least seen to some extent. There was a mention of possibly talking with Ember about trying to get some of the technicians that Darius has already vetted over there to try and help out with the Oro. Which, how that goes is ultimately up to Ember.
If you could repeat, my brain decided to shut off.
Darius, the commander of the Tornfalk, the patent that's
Oh.
under Kirka's command,
So, like,
it
help.
wants to offer to send the technicians that he personally condones and endorses over to help out Ember with the Oro.
She would agree. Grumbling, but agree.
Okay. He'd probably have something to say about, like, trying to be reassuring in his usual bravado, jerk ass with a heart of gold style of doing things. Because he cares about the other treadhead. He wants to make sure that y'all do well too, especially after the von Luckner got blown away.
Yeah.
So he would want you to know that he would want to make sure Ember is aware that it's not out of like any like sense of like sabotage or condescension or anything like that. It's tankers helping tankers, essentially.
Yeah. Darius is a dick, but he's not a mean dick.
Right.
That tracks.
At least the Oro and the Von Lackner don't do turret toss.
True. But that's part of the reason why Darius has been working so hard on making sure that everything is good to go with the patent. He knows that it can, and he does not want that for him or anyone else. So then I guess, so is Jet being designated with Beta as well for this or no? Oh, just mostly out of curiosity.
No.
Okay.
He is kind of like around, but he's not assigned to your star. Actually, what you've heard is he's currently being temporarily assigned to the command star due to incurred losses.
That makes sense.
And from another thing that you would know, because you were in the briefing where like that, all the losses and stuff like that, for the command star were shared.
Yeah.
You would also know that the losses from the command star were originally clan bonds people.
Hmm.
So like you can kind of put 2 and 2 together with where the other affected mechs lie.
Ah, I see. Clever, clever.
But yeah, Jet is kicking around for RP purposes, but he is not a part of Beta Star for the challenge.
Okay, that tracks.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. So then I guess she'll check in with Helmer real quick, make sure everything's on the up and up. Helmer, in his usual Jade Falcon self, is pissed off. He was one of the he was beginning to be fucked with a little bit, and it was mostly apparent during the previous 2 sorties when he had some issues with his autocannon. But as of right now, it seems to have been cleared up, and at this point, he's just kind of itching to get out there and shed some blood. So then I guess that would leave Deanna and probably Samantha, who's probably hanging over there as well.
Going to be in the same place. They would have gone down to the mech bay together, especially so that Samantha could be introduced to the Falcons, because she's been in med bay or securely kept in a classified location since they were brought on.
I.e. Kirka's quarters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
At the moment, Rainer and Torkil are up on the right arm, buttoning armor on it. It's mostly there. Looks like they might have a couple hours left. The dorsal laser, for the meantime, has just been removed and it's whole armored over. Samantha and Pele are going over something on a data pad, and Vlad is laying on the floor of the mech bay with a broken nose.
So, yeah, Kirka sees all of this, and at this point, without any sort of preamble or anything like that, points, just kind of gestures over to Vlad. What happened there?
He just points over at Deanna, who is wiping blood off of her fist.
Oh, I'm sorry, this was to Deanna.
Oh. I thought it was over to him. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
We can consider this one formally dismissed. I am not going to stand for him talking about Samantha that way.
I see. I presume the nature of those words is something that I'm better off not knowing.
Remarking about the nature of her injuries and the fact that she would suffer them in the first place.
Hmm.
And I suppose after this morning, there are going to be Technotion openings on Barsuk again.
Assuming the Barsuk remains commissioned, I have no idea what's going to happen. But no, I don't. I do not want to throw him to the wolves. Metaphorically speaking. Apologies.
She starts to snicker before Kirka catches herself and apologizes. He just follows up with a little too late for that.
So I see. I will talk with him and have him transferred. I lost a couple of people. I might be able to use them. So then she goes over, has a conversation with Vlad, who's really grumpy about having his face almost caved in by an elemental's fist.
But does seem a little happy about getting to work on an Omnimech again.
Mm-hmm. But obviously that would have to wait. She directs him to go to medbay in order to make sure that everything's on the up and up, and that any bones that were misplaced get replaced properly. Because there's probably a couple. Kirka has seen what Deanna's capable of doing with a swing of her fist, and knows that Vlad is not feeling good at the moment. So once that's taken care of, and he kind of like ambles off, plugging his nose, to try to keep any more blood from dripping all over his coveralls as he makes his way to medbay. Kirka just kind of jams in a little message to Ian saying that Vlad is going to be reporting to work with her technicians moving forward. He kind of looks over at Deanna and Samantha. Aside from that episode, how is everything else doing? It looks like the Marauder's in much better shape than it was.
Yeah, seeing Kirka walk in, Samantha would excuse herself, spin and wheel over, mostly to answer the question of F. I think it will need maybe 3 hours worth of work yet. They're just reattaching blast armor plates.
No wild or crazy plans with it yet, huh?
Overnight, too fast.
Even for a miracle worker like you?
A miracle worker with one leg.
I see two. Just one has a gnarly gash in it.
Still, I wish it was not so.
As do
Love
I.
the overhead tomorrow.
As do I. And the phrasing there kind of triggers a little train of thought, and Kirka's eyes kind of glaze over and she looks to the side, slightly distracted, before coming back. Soon. Hopefully we can get this whole mess behind us, and then we'll be able to actually move on with more normal affairs than whatever we've been dealing with for the past month and a half.
Agreed. Agreed wholeheartedly.
And then, and D, how are you feeling with everything?
What's the word I'm looking for here? Give me a sec.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's not supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Probably not. I
It
feel like
is.
that word
It
didn't.
is.
I feel like that word didn't quite make it into clan jargon. I am Mary Poppins, you all.
I suppose you could say precarious. I'm reassured after the trip to the orbit, but not entirely confident. Because tomorrow we shall see.
Think of tomorrow as your opportunity to get your pound of flesh back. I know you are looking forward to that.
Alexander willing, I'm going to get far more than a pound.
Mm-hmm. Several kilograms, ideally.
Ideally.
So you have nothing. So no major concerns at this point aside from nerves.
Now that Vlad is not here,
Do not worry. We will all be there, and we're all going to be fighting together. There has not been a challenge yet that has been able to overcome us. This is not going to be one of them. Show those bastards what we can do.
certainly hope we do.
We will.
The Star Captain has put a lot on us for this one.
Then let us reward his trust in us by decimating these fuckwits that dare to stand against us.
That I can get on board with.
Good. I will see you tomorrow.
Until then.
And with that, I guess that's all of the rounds. So unless there was some other intermingling that someone wanted to do at some point, Kirka's gonna basically keep herself busy for the rest of the day, getting ready for the next day and making sure everything's all in a row.
Deanna's most likely just going to get a bunch of PT in, try to get some extra sleep, and generally work on her nerves.
So I will say, in case anybody is looking for Jet, he can be basically found in a grassy area off to the side of one of the buildings. Essentially, seemingly practicing with a staff or otherwise practicing some sort of martial art.
I'm gonna go start a tussle with him for real. I haven't done it in a while. I'm gonna go try to start a tussle.
Oh my god. All right.
I mean, okay. Boop.
Tussle.
So what is that again? Isn't that just like a reflex roll?
So it would be melee combat for attacking, and defense. It is double your reflex score is your bonus. If you don't have melee combat, then it would just be your reflexes that you would be rolling. So how does this start out? Like, are you just gonna walk up and no words exchanged, just kind of go after Jet, or how does this play out?
I just want to walk up to him and like make sure that he sees me and like nod at him like a normal human being, and just be like, "Hey man, do you want to trade like some skill? Like you want to train a little bit today or something?" I don't want to just walk up and start like beating on this guy.
Well, no, I'm just asking how things are going. Like, we got to set the scene here.
Yeah. I just like that. I kind of just want to walk up politely and be like, "Hey, man," and I just want to like try to work out a little bit of little skill, try to get a little better at what I'm doing.
Yeah, I could just imagine this entire relationship devolving to the point where one just walks up to the other and says, "Hey, man," and sucker punches him.
Oh my god. It's like a friendlier version of fucking Peter Griffin and the Giant Chicken.
Wild.
Jet kind of looks over. He's like, "Sure. With weapons or hand to hand? Weapons or fists?
Hand to hand. I don't want to bust out a knife on him or anything like that.
I mean, there are practice
Just keep
weapons,
it
but
strictly friendly.
You see Jet kind of flourish with the staff that he was swinging about, and just kind of then lean it against the tree and kind of roll his shoulders a little bit and kind of bounce on both feet, like back from foot to foot, and like, okay, whenever you're ready, and essentially squares up into a very loose fighting stance.
All right. Well, I guess I'll. Should I just make like an attack roll and then take it from there? I guess depending on the result.
Sure, if that's how you want to do it.
So would that be just 2d6s plus 5, or just 2d6s raw?
It would be 2d6 plus whatever your reflex score is if you don't have melee combat.
Yeah. So my reflex score is 5. All right. Bam. All right, rolling it now.
Oakley.
I got a 13.
You were successful.
Oh shit! All right. So I want to just kind of like nonchalantly try to close, as nonchalantly as possible in a physical altercation. I want to close the distance and kind of try to feint from the right and bring in a left hook. Just kind of give him a little bop on the side of the head,
Okay. And so the damage for your unarmed / martial arts. What's your strength score?
That is a 2.
That's a 2. Okay, so you only do 2 fatigue damage.
Boop. All right.
Boop. I'm gonna say we're not wearing our armor, so like that wouldn't apply to this situation.
All right, that's fine with me. That I completely understand and agree.
And like after you hit Jet, he kind of, you see him actually kind of smirk, and he then kind of after you hit him, he uses the momentum and he actually keeps spinning a little bit more than you think he should from you hitting him, and spins around and tries to actually sweep your leg out from under you.
Oh shit. So I need to make a defense roll?
Yep. And that's just double your reflexes.
Double my reflexes?
Yep.
All right, my reflex is 5, so that's 10.
Yep.
All right. So 2d6s plus 10?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. 22.
I am going to spend a plot point because I can do that. Or sorry, no, it's edge for rerolls. I'm going to spend an edge and have you re-roll that.
Oh, okay.
Because I can force you to re-roll too.
Wow, man, that
Damn.
almost went as badly as when he tried to ground and pound Deanna, and she just kind of picked him up and threw him to the side.
Yeah, pretty much.
12. Damn.
Oh
Wow.
no, Snake Eyes!
That went right to the opposite.
Snake Eyes!
Dang. That was dirty.
So yeah, Jet just kind of spins around and takes your leg out from under you, and as you're going down, he kind of responds with his own strike as well. That's how I'm going to justify the damage that's being done here, as you take 3 fatigue damage.
All right.
He's strength 4. He doesn't look it, but he's a little bit strong.
Hell yeah.
Actually, that would be very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking strong. Isn't average strength just like 2
Yeah,
or something
pretty
like
much.
Let it be known, I would have dodged the hell out of that, people. Probably.
Oogie. Whatever you see.
Alrighty. So does Cletus have pain resistance as a positive trait?
No.
Okay. So that's guaranteed gonna clear out probably the first, if not the first and second condition monitor track.
Uh-huh.
So for however many of those that are fully cleared out, the highest one on the highest negative on the side there, that's that's the new modifier to your rolls.
Oh shit, I am -3 then.
It wouldn't have cleared out all the way to it's only the ones that are fully cleared. So like,
What's your will?
Say that again?
What's your will?
Well, I'm looking. 1.
so that would be 2 and 2. Yeah, it would only be the first 2 that would be fully cleared. Like that would be
Okay.
fully filled in. You're still only at a
Okay.
-2 as far as a modifier. But yeah,
Okay.
basically if another shot is landed, that will end up filling up the -3 track.
Heard.
And if 2 more hit, the fight's over.
Yeah, because then I'll be knocked out. Or staggered.
Yep.
All right.
Take you to staggered.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I guess I'm going to try to do some swift retaliation here. We'll do 2d6s plus 5. I'm not very good at attacking. But I got a 15.
Keep in mind that -2 applies to this roll.
Oh, shit.
So that would be a 13.
Okay, well then 13 in retrospect.
And Jet gets a 15. So how does this look? What was Cletus trying to respond with?
I guess I probably would try to do the same thing that I tried to do in our first altercation like this, where I try to sweep his leg with my leg from the ground. And I would just probably assume that he sees that coming and probably just like kicks me in the shin and stops me with like no effort.
Okay,
You know.
well, let us see how this next roll works out. To see how he fully responds. So Jet does have pain resistance. So even though his first track is filled out, he doesn't suffer the -1.
Okay.
So he's rolling at his full skill. So a defensive roll from you, please, and thank you.
And that's 2d6s plus double my reflex.
Yes, -2.
Okay. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat screaming. She is like freaking out.
I cannot, but that's also no worries. I have a cat who also occasionally decides to scream.
Yeah, she's talkative.
The body of a dog. So I am all too used to screaming animals.
Right.
Yeah, we understand your plight.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of screamers. These cats are all loud.
Alrighty, so what happens now is Cletus goes to sweep the leg on Jet, and Jet decides to take this opportunity to do something like basically he goes for a ground mount, and works it into essentially like a full back mount on Cletus and is putting him in a headlock. This does do 3 more fatigue damage.
So that fills out 3 more blips.
Yep. As Jet is currently trying to either choke you out or make you submit, it seems. Now, does anybody else... I'm going to throw this out there. Does anybody else from the party think they have, like, walked upon this scene as it's going down?
Definitely.
No, Kirka would not have.
Yeah, Kirka's busy.
Kirka is very busy.
Um,
Probably, you know, luckily for Cletus.
alrighty, how does Cletus respond?
Well, I guess I'm gonna try to make a combat roll to try to get out of his grasp here. So that'll be 2d6s plus 1 because now I'm at a -4.
No, you're only at a -3 because it would only be the
You sure?
-3 track that would be fully filled out.
Oh,
You would be one blip into -4.
I keep going 1 too far down. Okay. Okay, I see.
Yeah, so you should have 4, basically 4 remaining before you're knocked out. I've been keeping track.
7.
Oakley dokley, so how does this work? What does Cletus attempt to do to try and get out of the situation?
I don't know. I guess he would probably be trying to throw elbows back into his ribs, trying to get him off. But with his current condition and being quite beaten, he probably isn't able to muster enough strength to really accomplish his goal before just kind of failing.
Alrighty. So Jet's gonna essentially at this point, Jet's just kind of maintaining the hold. And is going to just kind of quietly say, because his head is like right next to Cletus's, and be like, "If you tap out, I'll let you go."
No, not doing it.
And Cletus's defensive roll.
All right. It's 2d6.
Sounds a lot like Ainsley and Jet.
Yeah, actually, the parallels are definitely there.
Yeah, because like just out of curiosity, with that last roll, I checked the sheet and it's like, holy shit, he doesn't have melee.
Alrighty, so yeah, that will be another 3 fatigue damage, and you are at this point staggered. So since I don't think we've actually ever gotten to that, damn it.
Oops.
Okay, so no, that's in mech scale combat. We need personal combat. There we go. Staggered. Da-da-da-da. Oh, okay. You basically can't do anything at this point.
All right. Well, I guess I'm unconscious.
No, you're not unconscious. It's just you're at the point where you're like you're exhausted. You just kind of can't give any more at the moment. So what it says in the book, when all 4 rows of pips and the staggered pip are filled in, the character simply cannot give any more and may take no actions. They do not give any more narrations until they are healed and cannot spend any plot points. So at this point, Jet kind of like feels you just kind of start to go limp and just lets go and like kind of helps you sit up and sits down on the ground next to you and is like, not bad. I have some pointers. One of which is you will need to train a little bit. One option that you will have once we get back to the ship is training with the elementals. I train with them semi-regularly. There's also Deanna. You can talk to her. She's a pretty good training partner for some people.
All right. I'll groan as I'm trying to maintain my consciousness.
Oh, God. Sorry, that hit just right. That like he doesn't even count her in the same class as the elementals.
Well, to be fair, I think the only one really on the Onokuma that can keep up with Jet for the most part in like hand-to-hand combat is Deanna. Like the elementals will have their good days, but for the most part, he's just weirdly a physical combat monster.
They're trying their best.
Oh
They're
yeah,
trying their best.
they try. It's just weirdly one of Jet's hobbies.
They try, but they're not genetically engineered muscle mommies.
Hell yeah.
True.
Like on the paper, like her melee is 10, her unarmed damage is 4, and she ignores the first pip of damage every attack.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and
she's not one you want to get into a punchy with.
No doubt.
and like the average. Where are you, Mister?
I think the only one in the book is an elite, but I'm assuming it fits in the same clan average of like 7.
I was actually just trying to go to.
Oh shit, Esau is an 8 or a 7 when he's in his armor. That's really lousy melee combat for an elite elemental, my dude.
Yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, like that's the thing
It's the Mohawk.
is that I'm basically taking these stats as far as, at the very least, athletics, support weapons, and melee combat as the average for what the elementals on the Onokuma are like. But yeah, so like Deanna is a cut above the rest when it comes to that. And like I said, even Jet is better than most of them.
Right.
So like the
Mm-hmm.
Deanna is basically he has that much respect for Deanna because she is the best training partner for Jet in order for him to be able to improve really anymore.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess I'll take note of that for next time.
Though, Cletus, I do commend your tenacity. Not too many people challenge me twice once I've bested them the first time.
Well, I'm sure it won't be the last time.
I am all for that. Keep in mind there are training weapons around. We can also fight with those if you feel that that would be a more suitable challenge for you.
All right. We'll see next time.
However, it's getting close to lunchtime. You want help to mess? You look a little bit
No.
shaky.
I'm just gonna go home and take a shower. Wash away the shame.
All right then, but keep in mind there's no shame in losing. It happens.
If you say so, big dog. And then I guess I'm going to try to stagger out to the best of my ability.
Alrighty. Does anybody else have anything they would like to do?
I'm hearing a lot of nothing.
Alrighty. Well, I think this makes probably a pretty good stopping point for the time being. However, what we will close this on is the rest of the day for everybody goes pretty much uneventfully. There's, the last minute, well, not quite last minute, but last minute prep. There's some decompressing and, getting ready for a challenge that, while being unsaid, you all just feel that this is going to change the direction, or these events are going to cause a fairly big change in the forces that are planet side. Kirka, you receive just before you pass out for the night,
Mhm.
a chime, like you get a chime on your data pad, and it's actually from Johannes. And it's just one line. Like, it is encrypted, but it's like a very simple encryption that you would have worked out with him beforehand for communication. And all it says is Star Kernel translating in 0600. And nothing more. And also, you are the only one who has received that. So, yeah, you have little extra back pocket information.
I see.
And that is where we will end session for today. I will say everybody gets 3 XP.
Yippee!
Yay for XP.
Maybe I'll use those to get some skill in melee combat.
That might be an idea.
How much could I increase the skill in melee combat for 3 XP?
0 to 1.
Yeah.
Yep, and you would have 1 XP left over.
Okay. And do those just go away, or can I bank that?
No, you can bank.
Okay.
And
And then melee is based off reflexes, right?
that is correct.
So I would have a total of 6. All right, cool. All right. Wow, I'm moving up in the world.
Yeah, and like we can say also like narratively that 100% works because I figure you would have probably started to train with either Deanna or Jet at some point after getting tossed around like a ragdoll for a little bit.
Right, for sure. I definitely agree. That was kind of the plan there, you know what I mean? Kind of give myself a reason to have that skill
Yeah.
and get it. So
Wow, I have 17 XP. So
whoa.
little.
You should do something with them.
Hey, Jet
I
also
can't.
got to increase his XP total today because he participated.
Oh
Hooray.
yeah.
I can't do much. Oh, except for small arms. But who needs that?
I mean, it could be useful.
I mean, 17 XP, you could probably upgrade an attribute if you want.
Yeah,
Hmm,
yeah, because
I'm going to have to look up into it.
for an attribute, for 4 to 5 is 15 XP. 3 to 4 is 12. 2 to 3 is 5, and 1 to 2 is 3.
You guys are cut off.
Where did
If
it
you
cut?
have anything, if you have any attributes that are at a 4 or below, you have enough points to upgrade them by 1 point.
Most recent pinned content.
Okay, now I'm back.
Hey,
Welcome back.
So in the pins in the Mechwarrior Destiny chat, the
I already found it.
yeah, the top pinned comment. Basically, you can level up anything that's already under level 4 as far as an attribute.
So 4 times. Actually, no, 5 times 3 is 15. Yeah. An attribute is the one at the top, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your strength, reflex, will, intelligence, that sort of thing.
I can do 5 reflex. Now I will have 11 bonus on gunnery and 10 on piloting.
Heck yeah. It's always good to get skill increases. I started off playing regular D&D, and I feel like it takes forever to level up in D&D because no one ever wants to deal with experience in like 3.5. So it's cool to actually feel like I'm moving along.
That was one of the things that I loved about 3.5 was like doing the leveling process and all of that.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like there were so many feats and everything. It's just like after like we played it for like 10 years. You know what I mean? Me and my friends. So, we kind of got bogged down there at the end and all that extra supplemental crap.
Oh, I get it. 100%.
I have 1 XP left.
I have 2.
I'm just gonna bank that XP, I think.
Just don't be like me who's Ainsley.
Yeah, don't just sit on an ever-growing pile of the nonsense.
Right.
What was her XP?
At the
40
end,
some?
yeah, at the end there it was something like 40.
I can look up. I want to. Is it dead?
Oh, and Cletus,
One.
as of next session, your fatigue monitor will have been reset back to what it is standard.
All right.
Like it'll be fully
Okay,
clear.
no,
Okay.
that's the old one.
Cool.
5
Cool.
XP.
Perfect.
That's okay. I also decided to spend the XP that Jet had accumulated.
This one?
He is kind of
No.
harder to beat now in melee combat.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a second.
Dang. He's just gonna keep advancing. He's gonna scale in difficulty like Oblivion.
Well, see, no, he's at this point he's pretty much almost topped out at what he can do in that regard.
I gotcha.
He's at a plus 11 bonus.
Heck yeah.
So he actually might be able to beat Deanna now.
Maybe next time I can hit him twice.
I can actually just imagine how that interaction would go with him like squaring off against Deanna after like the training to get up to that point, and the first time he actually like beats her, he'd be like, did that, wait, no, that didn't happen. Like, what the hell? That's not supposed to happen.
Just get smacked. So I take it historically he's just been smacked around, huh?
From Deanna,
Yeah.
yes. He has made a name for himself by facing elementals one-on-one and coming out as the victor.
I gotcha. Crazy stuff.
Like in unaugmented hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
he's useless inside an elemental suit. Like, canonically.
Canonically useless is not something I would ever want to be described as.
It was a whole thing. Well, it was more of a described in, I think it was a between session fiction.
I think so, probably. It sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it was that one that I had to duck out of because I was just having a really bad mental week.
Thought it was a different one.
Which one?
No, it was a different one. That it was talking about the cross training that Jet had attempted but couldn't land.
Oh, yeah, no, that was just the two of them sitting in a bar talking the one night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic.
We
Can you real quick in the Destiny chat?
Yeah. Quit now. It's only been
Only been 8 hours.
Yeah, I do like the those pop-ups from dudes.
It's silly.
I who said we have to press da.
Your friends will definitely be sad. Да, конечно.
Yes. I actually can't find Ainsley's 48 something XP. Oh yeah, it was 48.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous amount of XP. We did suggest that you spend the XP on her.
It's true. Several times.
Well, I wanted to play character and everything. But no. By the way, but no, it was about me.
I mean, that ended up being an interesting story arc.
It did.
Yeah.
It did lead to the like meltdown of two PCs in the same session,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I can't say that did a lot of good things for Kirka's mental state.
No, but
I
most
would-
things don't.
I would even say 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's be honest though, there are a few things that are actually good for Kirka's mental state at this point.
That's entirely fair.
Yeah. And then if I'm reading the writing on the wall correctly, not to give away spoilers or anything like that, I feel like it's only going to get tougher here starting in a couple weeks.
It's gonna get interesting.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna get fun.
And this also gives like a really good excuse for bringing Mike on board and whatnot. Considering we now have an excuse for somebody who has not been seen yet to, you know, join the star.
The
As
fun game.
there are new people coming.
Yeah. Shame he couldn't show up, but life probably happened or something.
He was not feeling well, so
Mm.
he had approached me a little bit before session, and yeah, he's thinking he's coming down with something. So I was like, yeah,
I feel that.
it's a get better situation. I'm not going to force somebody to play when they're not feeling well.
Yeah, I get that.
Can you believe it? I'm below 3 XP. I'm not
Yay!
hoarding.
Yay! You're spending your XP this time.
Yay!
So it would be nice to expand it to strings.
All right, y'all. Well, I think I'm gonna hop off of here for the night, and I'll catch you guys next weekend. Correct?
100%. Yep. Same bat time,
Yeah.
same bat channel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys then.
Yep. Take it easy.
Cheers.
Everyone have a good night and day.
Which session is it now?
That was number 27.
Okay, I'm going to number them by sessions.
I should probably start labeling them like that on the YouTube. It may help. Not that
Maybe.
I think anybody really watches them after the fact anyway, so.
Hmm.
Alright, I'm also gonna take off.
Alrighty. Thank you very much for joining. It's, as always, a pleasure playing with you.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Right, well, yep. Okay, good night.
Where is it? I can't find it. Oh, here it is.
I am going to stop the YouTube